Hello everyone, it's Helen here and thank you for joining me today. Now today we're going to be making a card that I made for Die Cutting Essentials. That's issue number 23 and it's out on the shelves at the moment. We're going to be making this wreath card just here, and also with this magazine you get a nice set of dies here. This is like a freshwater, it's called Freshwater Friends, and it's like pond life, river, wildlife die set. So there's some really good examples in here on how to use that, and also some free downloads for these papers as well. So pop along to the website, all the links will be down below for checking that out. So moving on to the card, I've used the Kaisercraft flower wreath, so it's just this large one around here. I won't be using those little ones today. So we're going to be making this card here, and this is raised up on some fun foam, and it's also been watercoloured as well with some pigment ink. So I'll show you the colours here. So I'll be using that and some old olive ink as well. So this one is Lagoon and this one is called Berry, and these two are from Kaisercraft as well. They are pigment ink, but you can use them as watercolours. Okay, so let's get set up and we'll get started. Okay, so we're going to be starting off by making our card base. Now this is a piece of Whisper White thick card from Stampin' Up. Now this is nice and thick, so it's perfect for making your card bases. So this measures 10 by 5. I'm just going to quickly score this at 5 inches, just using my mini Martha Stewart scoreboard here. It fits a lot easier on my desk. So we're just going to score that at 5 and then fold. There we go, that's our card base done. Moving on to our next pieces of card. You need a mat here. This measures 4 3/4 of an inch square, and this one measures 4 7/8 of an inch, and this is actually a piece of cardstock by Kaisercraft. It has a nice weave to it and it's the shade of bubblegum. So these all stack perfectly together, and now we're going to be moving on to our die cuts. Okay, so for our die cut pieces you're going to need 2 of these wreaths. The first one I've cut out of watercolour paper, so that would be this one here, and I've discarded the centre. And this one is white foam, fun foam. You can use any colour you want, but I liked the white. A nice pink one would look good as well, so I've cut that one out as well out of that one. And now we're going to do one more. We need to make one in the centre of our mat, so I'm going to use my magnetic platform for this. So all you need to do is centre that, and then centre this the best you can. If you don't have a magnetic scoreboard, not a scoreboard, platform, just use your normal platform and then use a small bit of washi tape just to hold that in place so it doesn't move around. So I think that's more or less in the centre. Just going to grab my big shot and then feed that through. Now what I like to do here is to pick it up, turn it round and then feed it through again, just to make sure that it's cut in all the areas. Okay, so I'm going to double check that that's all cut out neatly. Looks like it has. There we go. We need to keep the centre for this one because we're going to be putting this all back together again. There's a few little areas here. There we go, so we're keeping that, and we don't need to keep any of this now. Get everything all stuck down and then we can start on our watercolouring. So just decide which side you want. I want this side on the front, so we'll stick down our pink piece first. I'm just going to use some Tombow for this. Using the wet glue will give me extra wiggle room because this border is quite narrow, so I do want to actually make sure that it's even all the way around. Now with our second one, you can tell which side is which. Looking at the die cut here, oop, keep dropping that. Looking at the die cut here, you can see this is the underside due to the angles of the cut, so that's going to face down. Okay, so now what we need to do is to put our wreath in and then try and work out where it fits. So that looks just about right, so I'm just going to try and keep the same angle as I turn it, and then I'm going to add bits of glue strategically. I'm not going to cover all of it with glue, just in places here and there, just so that they're evenly spaced out. Just little dabs, because it will come out the sides if you put too much on. Okay, trying to keep the same angle again. I know this flower goes here. And then just try and wiggle it into the right place before you press it down. If you do get excess glue coming out the sides, just let it dry. And with Tombow you can remove it with a rubber. There we go. And it also dries clear as well, so it really won't be that visible. Okay, so now what we need to do is just double check this is going to fit the right way round. So this is like a jigsaw puzzle. Looks like that might be that way. There we go. So that's going to fit in there. I'm not going to poke it in all the way in because we're going to have to do our stamping. It's up to you whether you want to push it in and do your stamping, whether you trust yourself, or whether you want to do your stamping and then put it in. But there's always the risk if you do it when it's not in there, that you may stamp it wonky. So I'm just going to add my glue around there now, and then try and get that in the right place. I lost my orientation there. There we go. So just push that in around the fun foam. If you do get sticky fingers at this point, I think I've got a bit on my finger there, just use a quick baby wipe just to keep your hands clean while you're working. That's one quick tip on what to do when you're working with wet glue and how to keep your projects clean and tidy as you go. So just pop those all in. There we go. So now all we need to do is watercolour our wreath and stick that on in the right place, and then stamp our sentiment. The set we're going to be using today is also from Kaisercraft, and it's called Background Friend Sentiments, and I'll be using the You Make Me Smile, and I'll also be using Versa Fine in Onyx Black. So get that stamped down. I've got a bit on my thumb there, and get that cleaned off. Just find your centre and then press that down. There we go. So moving on to our watercolouring now, I'm going to set that aside so it doesn't get any paint on it. So I mean ink, not paint. Okay, so just get your ink pads and then squish them on just like that. I've got a little bit of clear sheeting here from the back of one of my stamp sets. They're from the photopolymer sets. They tend to have the extra bits of plastic, so these are really useful for colouring. And I'm just going to grab my paintbrush, add some water. I've got something floating in there, bit of paper. Okay, so here is my watercolour, and we're going to start off with the pink flowers first. So just add a bit of water, and then you can always put down a sheet of paper or something underneath, but I'm just going to clean my mat afterwards. So don't worry about the underside. I think these are going to be blue flowers, and the larger ones are going to be the pink ones. Moving on to the blue. Okay, so that's what it looks like so far, and then we're going to be moving on to our green. If you're making a few of these, do these all together, so don't waste anything that's on your little palette there. Okay, so I'm going to use this old olive here now for the leaves. Okay, so that's all the green done, and now I want to intensify the pink flowers. So I'm just going to grab this back in, just add another layer of the pink. Okay, so now you need to set that off to dry. It won't take very long. So while that's just quickly drying, I'm just going to quickly wipe my desk. Okay, so now we can start assembly. Oh, got it almost first time there. That was quick. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to put the glue on this one. I'm going to put the glue on this one here. So I'm trying to try not to move that one around because I've found the right place. So I'm going to use Tombow again, just adding it again in strategic places. Not too much so it doesn't ooze out the sides. Okay, just line it up and press down. It's really that simple. It's very effective but very simple as well. Okay, and there we have our card. It's very nearly finished. For the one I made for the magazine, I actually covered the entire wreath in glossy accents, which is by Ranger. I don't have my original squidgy bottle left anymore. I do decant it into these little needle bottles here. So these are absolutely perfect for doing the fine line and delicate work. I'm going to leave this one plain, and I'm also going to add some rhinestones. So these rhinestones are from Stampin' Up, and I'm going to use my paper piercer just to stick these on. I'm running low, don't worry, I have more. I have another pack just in case I run out. I'm going to be using the larger ones, and if you are sending these through the post, I would recommend gluing down these rhinestones, or this goes for any sort of rhinestone that you use. The adhesive backing isn't the best on them at the best of times, so just make sure that they're glued down properly, and they should make it through the post okay. And there we have it. There's our card for today. Find that card in Die Cutting Essentials issue 23, and one of my other projects from the same range using the Kaisercraft Wildflower collection is this scrapbook page here. So this is also in the magazine, and there'll also be some more details about this page and all my other cards that I made on my website, and the link will be down below for that one. So please do visit me. I do enjoy your visits and reading all your comments, and I'll see you in my next video.